Hey guys, Eric Squared here. We're coming to you from the IGN Zombie Bunker, where we're going to be talking dead about The Walking Dead. Basically, this is a weekly series that looks at last night's episode of The Walking Dead, so it should probably be said up front, if you haven't seen that episode, be sure to watch it first before you watch us. Now, all that out of the way, Eric, you reviewed the episode for us, so why don't you kick us off?
I was really happy with it. I mean, this is a TV show that I know personally I've been waiting for a long time, that I think most of us have here.
Yeah, definitely.
It's such a great comic book. Could they pull it off as a TV show? And it gets off to a wonderful start, I think. You know, look, Frank Darabont wrote and directed the pilot. You knew you were in good hands. But he brought a really, really great tone to it, which I think was key. Because a lot of people were saying, look, we've seen a million zombie movies before. Why do we need a zombie TV show? But the difference is a zombie TV show is going to go on, hopefully for years, and you're going to be invested in these characters and really want to follow their story. And so that's what I thought the first episode did so well, was get you into Rick Grimes, kind of put you with him in this situation, and put him in his shoes, and want to see where he goes, and kind of feel this sort of sadness going on around him.
Yeah, I mean, you really hit it with the word characters. I mean, very much of a cinematic feel to this episode. But at the same time, while there are great zombies and great kills, and anybody who loves headshots, there's a ton of them here, so don't worry about that. But yeah, there's this focus on character that really makes us want to keep coming back week after week to watch them. One of the really cool kind of exchanges for me was when Rick meets up with Morgan and his son. Yeah. And that's pulled from the comic.
Yeah, and I thought, first of all, great casting, because Lennie James, such a terrific actor. And yeah, they actually stayed with Morgan longer than we did in the comic. After Rick leaves, we stick with him. And I have to say, that is my favorite sequence of the first episode, is intercutting between Rick going and back to that zombie woman, the one without the legs, and giving her this sort of mercy kill, and Morgan trying to kill his wife. Just because this is a scene that could be played goofy or sensational in a zombie movie, but here it's played incredibly sad and emotional and poignant, and I think completely captures that tone. The fact that Rick says to this woman, "I'm sorry this happened to you." The fact that Morgan knows that that's not his wife anymore, and that taking her out is the right thing to do, but he can't do it. So emotional, and that's really, what I was hoping for from this show, and so happy to see.
And Darabont has said in the past that while he is going to be following the comic, it's its own kind of living, breathing thing, so he may take it off into different directions. So I'm hoping that we actually see Morgan and his son again down the road.
Yeah, a little more perhaps. And again, like I said, Lennie James, I think that was great casting, because here's an actor you can pull back anytime.
Exactly. And we should also probably touch on, the episode does very, very quickly kind of go to the survivor camp outside of Atlanta. And how similar and different it is from the comic.
Yeah, I think one thing people notice right away is that there are more people at the survivors camp, that there's just, in the background we saw some characters that were not familiar. But the thing that people are going to be debating a lot, comic book fans that is the portrayal of Lorien Shane. Because in the comic book, they had this one-time, fling, not even fling, they had a one-time get-together that Laurie immediately regretted. But here they're having an ongoing relationship. And I'm sure people will debate that, and whether that makes Laurie look really bad or not. I mean, I can defend it, because I think it's just kind of taking the comic book thing and pushing it further.
To the extreme.
To the extreme, yeah. Because Laurie, she's in this heightened situation that none of us can really imagine. The zombie apocalypse has happened. She thinks her husband's probably dead. So I think the justifications are still there that were in the comic book. But on the other hand, you do have to say it makes her a little more unsympathetic, right? A character we're just meeting. Yeah. That she is cheating on her husband, whether she really means to be or knows it. And the fact that Rick's fighting to get back to her. And so that's a little hard to take, that it's like, oh, come on, Laurie.
Yeah. And it definitely, well, it paints her in this kind of bad light for me in this episode. Even worse, and I don't know why, they're both equal partners in this, but even worse to me is Shane, his partner. He's really coming across like a douche now,
Yeah, he's definitely sort of pushing it, and you kind of feel like he was just waiting, and
for that moment to pounce,
Right.
And let me ask you, do you think the extra kind of folks lingering in the camp, red shirts?
I think that some of them got to be red shirts. Some of them are going to just neck snap, that's it. But some of them, who knows? Maybe they'll kind of step up and develop these characters a little more, and then their neck will be snapped.
Well, there you have it. Be sure to tune in next week for our next episode of Talking Dead. And while you're here, why don't you check out some of the videos we got in the playlist to the right. We've got exclusive interviews with the filmmakers, with the cast. We've got a celebrity zombie video, and we've got some other great Walking Dead coverage across the site. So be sure to check it out, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys.